Hi, this is Tracy HD, and I want to thank you for joining me for our February 2016 tarot reading, and this will be for the sign of Gemini. And as I shuffle the deck, I'm asking all light beings, angels, and God, please relay the message and share with my viewers for the highest good of all. For the beginning of the month, we'll take a card from the top. For the middle of the month, we will take a card from the middle. And for the end of the month, we're going to take a card from the bottom. Okay, Gemini, and what do we have here? Okay, so we start off the month with the Eight of Swords. And what an interesting card that is. There are 8 swords in the ground. We have the moon overhead, a cloudy, mysterious sky, and she is bound. She's not only bound by being tied with her arms behind her back, but she's also blindfolded. Okay, and when you look at this card, the woman isn't very comfortable. She looks like she's kind of leaning off to the left side. Okay, and this card, when I look at it, is we're inhibited by something. Okay, and we're trying too much to control, okay, ourselves and other people around us. Okay, and what it is you're feeling restricted. You're not feeling fully alive in the beginning of February. Okay, and it's a very uncomfortable feeling, a very uncomfortable energy. Okay, and when I look at this card, okay, it means that there's a part of ourselves that we don't allow to live, that we try to shut away. We're inhibited because we try too much to control and inflict prohibitions on ourselves. That's exactly what I would get from this. And this is what leads to the feeling of not being alive or in touch with ourselves and the world around us. So this woman isn't able to touch anything because her hands are behind her back. She's not able to see anything because she's blindfolded. So she's not experiencing any of her senses when it comes to her seeing anything or feeling completely alive. Yeah. And the clouds above, it's like a state of confusion. It's a very gloomy type of feeling, this card. And we're just not experiencing what it really feels to be like free. This is a card where I'm feeling like your freedom has been restricted too. And we're the ones that are doing this to ourselves. It's not a card where someone is doing this to you. This is something that's self-inflicted. This is something that you're doing to yourself where you don't feel completely, totally free. There's something that's holding you back from truly maybe expressing yourself and truly feeling alive in the beginning of February. And then in the middle of the month, we have the Magician. Okay, and the Magician is looking down towards the right. Okay, and what I get from this card when I look at this is your ability to influence the world and how you're able to have the ability to influence your own life. This card of the Magician asks us, what do we want to do? What do we want to create? What do we want to be? Okay, and the Magician symbolizes power that's gained through knowledge, and he's a card where you take the initiative to make things happen. Okay, you can do whatever you want with your life, and you determine your fate. You can very well determine your fate with this card, but we want to caution you against misusing your power and knowledge and your charisma. Okay, this card is telling us not to manipulate people with that. And I know as a Gemini myself, I love to absorb knowledge and I love to learn things. I'm always interested in learning something new. especially self-improvement, things that could help me live a better life. A lot of psychology books I read, a lot of different philosophies I read. But this card here is telling us not to use our knowledge or maybe our attractiveness to manipulate or influence people. Okay, knowledge is a good thing. It's important to know things, but in this case, we don't want to misuse whatever knowledge we do have. And then the last card is the Two of Pentacles, and it's a beautiful woman. She's dressed in a green and black lovely dress, and she's holding two pentacles. Okay, one is over here above her head and one is down below. Okay, and this is a card of decision, that we have to choose between two things. Okay, and at this point, this woman looks like she's kind of in a daze where she's unable to make a decision or a choice at the end of the month. And she's kind of going back and forth, okay, and not really committing to one of the two choices. She's kind of doing a little of one and a little of the other when really she needs to decide and focus. So maybe here you're gaining the knowledge of whatever it is that you want to learn in the middle of the month, but you're dabbling into too many subjects. Okay, you want to change your life, you want to create your destiny, you want to make a path for yourself, but in the end of the month, there's got to be a choice made. Okay, because when we don't focus and we don't devote ourselves to one thing at a time, we're not going to get anywhere. We're just going to be half done. And I know I've struggled with that problem. I always get involved in more than one thing at a time. I guess it's just our Gemini dual nature where we try to do, so much, and we're so interested in a wide array of interests that we start one subject and then something else distracts us and draws our attention in a different direction. But this is telling us that we need to make a choice. We need to make a decision at the end of the month. Okay, and we need to gather what information we need to make that decision. Okay, so we're able to make a well-informed, responsible decision. Yeah, that's basically what I get, torn between maybe two things. But basically, at the end of the month, you're kind of perplexed. You're kind of caught between two things, not knowing what to choose. Maybe it's a situation where you need to choose between two jobs. Maybe you have, how could I say, maybe you're studying a multitude of things where you got to decide what you want to focus on. There's some type of a decision that needs to be made by the end of the month in February. And if you've enjoyed this reading, please subscribe to my channel because I will be back.